We're returning to Proverbs 31, and I'll start in I'll start here. Who can find a capable wife? A capable wife. A capable wife. Her value is far beyond that of pearls. Her husband trusts her from his heart, and she will prove a great asset to him. Last week we were in the men's session. Some call it a Bible study. I call it whatever they want to call it, just come out. Because I think it's really important that men have a venue where they can speak freely. In fact, in looking at the state of this country, because it's not so much in, like Africa, because in Africa, men are viewed differently than they are here, particularly men that look like me. But the statement came up by one of the fellas. He was giving some advice to a younger brother, and he said, he said, happy wife, happy life. And now, of course, they all there, yeah. And the ladies already know Barry had to have something to say. And he did. But it wasn't negative. It was not negative. But what I shared with them, I said, a little different, on a little broader perspective, how about this? A happy spouse, a happy house. See, that includes the man. See, I'm not poo-pooing happy wife, happy life, because that could happen. But Yah being who he is, and I can't explain it, and we don't all understand it, even if we spent the rest of our lives trying to define who he is. Happy spouse, happy house. But let's talk about happiness. See, the trick is your happiness depends on you, not your spouse, not your boyfriend, not your girlfriend, not your mama, not your daddy, not your teacher, certainly not your preacher. Happiness, you either have it or you don't. Now, I know if somebody give you $5,000 and say, go on a shopping spree, that'll temporarily make you joyful. But the type of happiness we're talking about is the happiness to be in pursuit of the things of the Most High. It's not, I got 2.5 kids, I got a real nice house, I got a white picket fence, 3 cars, and a summer home. Now that would make a lot of folks happy, temporarily, until you got to get a new water heater, or until one of the kids in the neighborhood threw a rock through the window, or the 3 automobiles you got need maintenance, and you had planned a trip. See, everything that you have calls for some sense of responsibility. And I'm not saying that it's not good to have things, because yes, it is. It makes life a little more bearable until you got to either repair it or fix it or get another one. And I just want us to just take a few minutes and think about some of what I said about happiness. Because you can be happy even when you're not having a particularly good day. Now, I'm not talking about that Pollyanna, nothing affects me, garbage. Because that's exactly what it is. And I know a lot of professional people try to get you to just see past that. Like it doesn't exist. If somebody drop a bowling ball on your foot, it's going to hurt. When you get bad news, it doesn't have to take away your happiness in pursuit of the things of the Most High. In fact, sometimes when you are happy and you get bad news, what it does is it draws you closer to Him. Because the first thing is like, hey, you knew this was going to happen. Why didn't you give me a heads up? And I'm speaking for myself. Maybe some of you don't do that. I wouldn't dare approach the Most High like that. You're so irrelevant, you little snot. I know that's what, I can feel it. I can feel this sentiment, and that's okay. I'm happy. Happy spouse, happy house. See, we all got to work at it. And that's the thing. I used to say all the time, and I still say it, the only thing free in Christianity is salvation. That's the only thing that's free. Everything else, you got to do something. Now, I know, cast all your burdens upon Him, bring stuff to the altar. We've been instructed to do all of that. Maybe we need to revisit some things. Like I said, happiness is in you. It's your responsibility to make you happy, not another person. And we get in trouble when we try, I can make you happy. Why you want to marry me? I can make you happy. Have any of you ever had, and don't raise your hands, in fact, just look up at the whiteboard, because I want you to think about something. Have you ever spent time with a person and they were so enamored with you? A better word is so infatuated with you. Of course, they thought the infatuation was love. That's another word we need to revisit. But whatever you wanted to do, it was okay with them. What do you want to do? I want to do what you want to do. And at first, you was like, oh my God, I done hit the jackpot. But check in with you about 30 to 60 days later. And everything that you asked that person what they want to do, they say, well, whatever you want to do. That thing began to, somehow it don't set with you anymore. It doesn't make you happy anymore, because now you're starting to look at this person like, don't you have a brain? In fact, people like that, they're actually They scare me. You know, if somebody tell you, I can't live without you, leave immediately. Your life may be in danger. I'm not laughing. Somebody that obsessed with you, that's not good. And I would hope by now, even with the young people, all of us ought to realize we are not that wonderful. I don't care how smart and I don't care what level of success you think you've accomplished. You're not that wonderful. Hold it. We're not that wonderful. I remember back in the day when the brothers used to do a whole lot of begging. And nowadays, brothers that beg, they're referred to as simps. And that's not a good thing, brothers. That is not a compliment. Simps get disrespected. Simps get taken advantage of. A simp is not a gentleman. A simp is actually deceptive. Because he's doing all these things, but he has an ulterior motive. He's not like the regular dogs. Remember, girls, how all men are dogs, and remember that? Well, a simp's the guy that he's always, yes, I'll help you. Yes, I'll do this. Yes, I. But he's got a plan. See, he's trying to make you think he's a certain way, and he's not. Well, some of them are. They don't know any better. In these coming days, we're going to need to start trusting one another. I pray that as more of the fellows keep coming, that what I saw when I came in will happen with others. Happy spouse, happy house. And let me share this. Even if you don't have a spouse, it ain't the end of the world. You can have a meaningful friendship. All of us in here need 1, 2, and you're really blessed if you got 3. People that really care about you. And I'm not talking about, I'm not talking about who you go shopping with or who you have lunch with. Oh, no. I'm talking about somebody that really cares about you for real. Not for what you can get out of them or they can get out of you. Genuinely concerned about your welfare. I have a couple of places that if I and I sure ain't asking for this to happen, but if I lost everything, I think I got a couple of people that would maybe put me up for a little while. And give me time to try to get back on my feet. Now, I didn't say they were going to take care of me for the rest of my life. But it better not happen right now because my friend's husband, he got COVID. And she owns her own business, and he's got a real phobia about COVID. And I mean, he got the dog, the cat, everybody wearing masks in the house. I'm going somewhere with this. And we was talking about happy wife, happy life. And I was sharing with them about happy house, happy spouse, happy house. And he was on the other phone, and she didn't say nothing until he got off the phone. And when he got off the phone, she lit into me. Because she's angry. Because she was saying, she called me green. She said, Green, you don't know the hell, and that's not a bad word when you're saying it in that context. You don't know the hell he put us through in here. He got everybody wearing masks. The dog, the cat, you know. And about a week ago, they went, she and some of her girlfriends went on one of their friends got a beach house or something down in North Carolina, and about 6 of them went down there to have, I guess, a girls' weekend or whatever. And he calls her and tells her on the phone, I got COVID. Well, she comes back, and of course, since he got it now, everybody got to take the test, take the test, take the test. She took the test. It was negative. Took another test the next day. It was positive. Started getting calls from the other 5 ladies that went down there. They got it. It's caused quite an uproar. And of course, she's blaming herself for giving it to her friends. And she's blaming him because she thinks she got it from him. And I was just, I let her talk. I mean, she was laying me out for some things that I haven't done. So I let her talk, but I was setting her up the whole time. And after she finished saying what she had to say, I asked her, I said, well, do you know for certain that you got it from him? And she said, well, no. I said, well, then why did you just spend the last 20 minutes blaming him? And why did you tell the group that they got it from you? I said, because none of you know where you got it from. See, that's the thing about this thing. And by the way, there's a new respiratory ailment out now, and it's affecting the young people. When all was said and done, she got off the phone and and I asked, I said, let me ask you something. I said, If I lost everything, can I come stay with y'all? I said, now, I know your husband said it was all right. And you remember that word I used earlier that I said wasn't a bad word? Well, then she used it, but she meant it in a bad way. She said no. She said that word first, then she said no. Folks, I shared all that to say they have a very good, strong marriage, but they pluck each other's nerves sometimes. And this isn't a marriage thing. I'm not down on that. I'm for whatever the Most High for. Most High for it, I'm for it. If he against it, I'm against it. And I'm waiting for him to make the statement. I'm not going to get out in front of him, say something, and then hope he sanctions it. That's what a lot of us do. And we need to stop doing that. If he didn't tell you to say it, don't say it. Don't do that. Even if it sounds deep, don't do it. Because sometimes if it sounds deep, it may not have come from him. It may have come out of your own intellect. I'm going to ask you to do some research on the life of Paul. Paul, in a lot of circles, is almost considered more important than Yeshua. And that's a dangerous thing. But a lot of Paul's teachings are church doctrine. And Paul tells you clearly where some of that came from. And I'm going to leave it at that so that you'll be curious and start looking some things up for yourself. I'm going to get back to this thing because we're here to thank the Most High for the myriad of Proverbs 31 ladies that go here. And I do mean that. Who can find a capable wife? Her value is far beyond that of pearls. Her husband trusts her from his heart, and she will prove a great asset to him. She works to bring him good, not harm, all the days of her life. Now that's a tall order. She will prove a great asset to him. She works to bring him good, not harm, all the days of her life. I was talking with a young fellow that's getting ready to get married. And I was like, hey, man, are you excited? He says, yeah. I said, well, that's good. I said, man, you know, that's a good thing that you're doing. I just trust you both are making a good quality decision. He said, yeah. I said, well, can you tell me what you like most about her? And he said, we've been seeing each other for quite a while, and she knows a lot of my strengths. She knows most of my weaknesses, and she still wants to be with me. And I said, young man, that's about the most honest response I've heard. And that was this week. I said to him, I said, man, sound like to me, you got a real asset there. I said, because a lot of us, when we got married, we only saw certain aspects of the person. And I'm here to tell you, folks, that you can find a capable friend the same way. But that capable friend is not always somebody that's going to maybe see it the way you do. Why do you keep vacillating between wives and friends? Well, because we're all getting older. And a lot of changes have happened in a lot of our lives. Some of us that had spouses don't have spouses anymore. And some of us that have spouses may not have spouses in the very near future. Have you given a thought to what your life would be like without your spouse? I can tell you that the Most High has already equipped us with the ability to adapt. I'm not prophesying, I'm talking to you. So you need not get tense or worried or whatever. The Most High know all of our expiration date. And if he will, he'll let us know. And if he don't, he won't. Our relationships are going to be more and more important these next 2 years. We're all going to need real friends. We're all going to need church members with a heart to serve. Let me say that again. We're going to need church family with a heart to serve. It may be a spouse, but it may not be. She will prove a great asset to him. She works to bring him good and not harm all the days of her life. She procures a supply of wool and flax and works with willing hands. In other words, I mean, and it's a lot of ladies that get up and go and they make it happen every day. I salute them. Hey, Rhonda. I salute them. To put it in terms that you need, the body of Christ needs them. And as we reposition ourselves in our proper roles, things will begin to flourish. But it's going to take a period of adjustment. Because some have done this out of necessity. But as things change, eventually some will need to turn loose of the wheel. But what has happened, some is now, I like to drive, I like to steer. I like to. And some are getting tired. And they're getting tired because they've had to operate in a role that they never really should have had to. But life happened. When help arrives in your life, let the help happen. Don't fight the help. Don't push the help away. I was thinking about Sister Janie. And at her homegoing service, I got a chance to meet. There was a young man that had come. I think he was her neighbor. And most of you know that Janie, she had, she had gotten married and things didn't quite work out. I'll just put it that way. And I know nothing about it, so I'm only bringing this up because I'm gonna show you something. Janie, as I knew her, was willing to do what I read. She will prove a great asset to him. She works to bring him good, not harm, all the days of her life. She was at that point in her life when she got married. But sometimes life happens and, things don't work out the way we had hoped. But Yah being true to who he is, when that young man got up, I figure he's around my age and I'm no longer a young man, but close, and it doesn't matter. But when I heard him speak, and well, prior to that, I think it was Greg, because Greg introduced me to him because I didn't know who he was, but he got here early and he came up and he was just looking at her. And that guy loved her. Now, I didn't know that for sure, but that's what came to me. When I saw how he was looking at her and stuff, and see, that's why she got married. And I'm saying that because Yah is faithful. I said to you earlier, all of us gonna need one or two or maybe three people that really give about what happens to us. He talked about how she took him for a ride or something in her car. And I sat there and I listened and I said to myself, oh man, he had a thing for her. Now I didn't know this. I didn't know the guy. I hadn't met him. I had just met him that day. And I said, well, Father, I just thank you because, see, that's what all of us want that. All of us want, I don't care how together you can sit there and all of you look pretty together right now. But in the end, every one of us in here want to know if we ain't here no more, it matters to somebody. People got, I got this, I got that, I don't need nobody. You're a liar. If for no other reason, you want somebody to see you with it. I mean, really, being real. And I was so happy, man, because see, and I'm gonna tell you, when that brother began to tell how he would, if she had to go to the bathroom. Come on now. That's the kind of love anybody will, what? Now, I don't know, again, I don't know if he ever expressed that to her, but she had to know. You know, ladies, y'all have this, y'all got this knowing. You know? Thank you. See? But see, just like you know he like you, sometimes you know he don't like you. I mean, really. I mean, you know, I'm just being real with you, ladies. I mean, and I'm here for you. I know it don't sound like it sometimes. And sometimes the way I look at some of you, you might think, no, ain't no way in the world. He do not like ladies. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. But the Most High will be faithful to all of us. Every one of us. And I'm like, man, that just warmed my heart. I just sat there and I said, boy, I don't know if anybody else in here heard that. I said, boy, that whew. That's deep love. That's the right kind of love. And ain't nothing wrong with the other kind, but I'm just saying. Who that made that song, I'm Searching for a Real Love? Y'all know who it is. Don't call the name out. Don't call the name out. I know y'all know who it is. But I'm like, see, and I'm not saying that Janie didn't make mistakes. All of us make mistakes. All of us make mistakes, but I think she told her cousin Claudine, she basically said, the Most High got me. You know, she wasn't worried anymore. And I think about that, and I say, you know, it appears, because I can only surmise and suspect, but once Janie realized that young man deeply cared for her, she was content. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not talking about that Hollywood Romeo Juliet stuff. She embarked upon a situation. It didn't work out. But she went on with life. And it's like the Most High was like, daughter, I got you. Because even when things went different, boom, here comes this fella. And I think he only lived a couple of doors down from her or something. Man, see how he reroute? You know, Most High behind all of that, all them moves. Some of them moves are brutal. You know, I done had a few. I'm like, hey, can we talk about it? And while reading 31, I start thinking about a lot of the ladies that were right in this congregation. And we've had some beautiful people go on. And they were Proverbs 31. Mm, mm. She procures a supply of wool and flax and works with willing hands. She is like those merchant vessels, bringing her food from far away. Ladies, are you teaching your daughters how to still cook? I'm just asking, don't, keep your eyes up, up on it. I mean, that's important. And I know we men, we got to do some work on the young fellas too. We do. But that's one of the things I asked that young man. I said, man, I ain't trying to get in your business. Well, I said, yeah, I am kind of. I said, can she cook? You know what he said? I don't know. We always go out. Now, wait a minute, hold it. Don't give up. I mean, all ain't lost. She might be able to cook. So, because what I suggested to him was, I said, here's what you do, man. Then I asked him, can you cook? He said, no. I said, learn how to make something. I said, listen, here, look. Get you some salmon. Get a cookbook. Get you some broccoli. Melt some cheese. I said, this is what you do. You're going to set her up. You make dinner for her. No special reason. I said, she might like it. I said, I don't know. They so young. It's different now. Women might look at you funny. I don't know. But I said, if you're coming from your heart, it should work. I said, you do that. I said, but follow them instructions. I said, because if all goes well, she'll be pleased with it, and even if it's not that good, she's going to eat it anyway. Well, I'm thinking old school, because you all, we appreciate y'all, because that burnt stuff that we served up, y'all ate it anyway, or at least you wait till our head turned and spit it out and put it in the napkin. I don't know if that happened. I can cook a little bit, so I know if I made it, you're going to eat it. No, I ain't going to do that. But that's right. That's right. But, saints, I'm saying that because with the coming changes, we're going to have to get back to some of the basics. See, when you hear words like progressive, watch that phrase, because right behind progressive is confused. Because now people don't know, am I one thing, am I something else? All of that's mixed in this. We need our young ladies to be just that, young ladies. We need our young men to be just that, young men.
That's right.
And we need to reacquaint ourselves with what roles we're supposed to be in. We got to do that. I ain't know all that was in Proverbs 31. Yes, sir. It's a whole lot more in here. She is like those merchant vessels, bringing her food from far away. It is still dark when she rises to give food to her household and orders to the young women serving her. Well, this lady, she got a few coins. If she can have handmaidens, filing her corns down so her husband think her feet always so smooth. And you can saw wood with her feet. Oh, I just thought about something, Carrie. Oh, Lord, have mercy. It is still dark when she rises to give food to her household and orders to the young women serving her. Barry, you crazy. I don't work all day just like he do. And I know, the way the economy is now, hard to live on one income. Actually, it's not. But the way we're accustomed to living, it's hard to live on one income. I'll put it that way. And no, I'm not going minimalist. Please don't read that into this either. Just take it the way I'm giving it. I'm trying to convey to you in these next 2 years, we need to get back to basics about a lot of stuff. We have become too progressive in our lifestyles. We got women doing things that were designed for men, and now we got men trying to do things designed for women, which is further confusing folk. People are going off the deep end and they don't know why. It's because your stuff's out of order. What do you mean? I'm making such and such. Your stuff's still out of order. And sometimes calamity comes to put it back in order. I remember years and years and years ago, Pastor Ruby used to teach, when our heads get so hard, the one thing that could straighten most of us out is agony. When your life gets so messed up, now we come running to the Most High. Because all the stuff that he just allowed, because a lot of us get the big head. Oh, hey, I'm successful doing this. I'm successful doing that. And I'm like, yeah, you successful, but you in the C league. You not in the big leagues. You around here strutting around like you something. And you competing against third graders. Big deal you can beat a third grader running. You ought to be able to. Some of us got, I'm a big fish in a little pond. Yeah, you're a big fish, but you're in a little pond. Remember that. We got to get back to living balanced lives. Our stuff is all out of kilter. All out of kilter. She considers a field, then buys it. Now that's back in the day. She considers a field, then buys it. And from her earnings, she plants a vineyard. Man, they don't make them like that anymore, do they? That's hard work. Now you just pick up the phone. Send me 1 bottle of Pinot Noir and one of Pinot Grigio. And I got some other folks coming over, and they drink Chardonnay, so 1 bottle of Chardonnay. But back in the day, this woman, she considered the field, she bought it, and then planted a vineyard. And then she got in there with her feet and mashed them grapes. And she probably had the handmaidens helping her too. We're like, bro, I ain't doing all of that when I can just pick up the phone or contact Amazon. You know, things are easier in some ways, but they're more complex in other ways. Because with this ease, it has helped many of us get things out of order in our lives, and we don't understand. We don't understand why aren't I happy? I got this, I got that, I can do this, I can do that. I don't, hey. And miserable. Maybe not miserable, but unhappy. In your mind, unfulfilled. Not content. And I told you, all of those so-called experts are telling us, well, if you ain't married, you ain't whole. You are whole. It's so much stuff we've been taught and paid money, flew halfway across the country to hear a bunch of stuff. And we're finding out a lot of it was just pure D baloney. People sold millions of dollars of books, tapes, CDs. And folks are finding holes in it every day. Make you want to get a baseball bat and go looking for folk. And a lot of us made big decisions on inaccurate information. And some of them jokers ain't nowhere around to answer. Why did you put that in print? Seven minutes. She gathers her strength around her and throws herself into her work. I tell you, it's nothing like somebody that's passionate about what they do. I have another small piece of advice. You do with it what you will. If you are employed and you have done what they call quiet quit, unquiet quit. In the coming days, make yourself indispensable wherever it is that you're working. If you used to coming in there when you feel like it and all of that because you close with the person, I guess that's running the place or whatever, or your supervisor don't care what time you get in. If you ain't careful, you and your supervisor going to be looking for work. And right now, people are like, oh, I don't feel like working right now. Okay. Gang, the script is going to flip. Companies are getting ready to have mass layoffs. You know why? Because they're not making any money. See, when you hear on the news, so-and-so and so-and-so is opening up 1,500 new stores, why? You ain't making no money with the 1,500 you got open. But they borrowed money because their rates were low. Now the rates are going higher. And the only way the Fed can get the inflation down, unemployment got to be driven up. And for you middle managers with the six-figure incomes that think you're unapproachable, that's the next wave that's going to get the pink slip. The middle managers. I ain't talking about the top dogs. And I'm going to tell you, there ain't a whole lot of 150 plus jobs out there. 150,000 I'm talking about. Yeah, by the way, have y'all ever looked at the back of that Virginia state tax book? What does it stop at, about 200,000? You ever wonder why it stopped at about that amount? It's a simple reason. Because there ain't that many people making that kind of money. You wouldn't think that, though, with the way some of us front. Don't quiet quit. Please don't do that. And please don't walk out on a job if you don't have another one. Please don't do that. She gathers her strength around her and throws herself into her work. She sees that her business affairs go well. Her lamp stays lit at night. Well, now you got to get some sleep. You got to eventually. But this person, it just seems like she's just driven. And it's not about always acquiring things. Because most of us that are over 50, you start looking at all that stuff that you work your young life to get. And now it's some of us collecting dust. And you're saying to yourself, why did I get so many? I was telling the guys, I was telling the guys, I got so many boxes from HSN that I haven't, and I'm not exaggerating. I got over 30 boxes from HSN with stuff in them, and I don't remember what I got. And you know the bad thing about it, I had pretty much cleared out most of my attic. Now guess where them 30 boxes gonna go? I'm gonna open them up, but I gotta stop. What is wrong with him? You know, and then I don't know if y'all remember, well, wait a minute, ain't that the same little snot that told everybody, don't make any major purchases? Yes, I did say that. And I still mean that. Now, if you got to get a car, you got to get a car. You got to get a car. Wait a while. Because eventually, the wholesale prices are coming down, and it's going to get to the retail. Same thing with housing. If you got to get a house, wait a while, please. Yes, the rates are going up. It's going to force them to bring the prices down on the homes. Any of you that are landlords, they're still landlords. If you haven't, the courts are full up with everybody trying to evict somebody. Man, I tell you, I'm thinking about getting my brother Arthur, and we just go visit some people and say, look, my boy Vince will be here with some trucks. You got a decision to make. Is that lawful? No, it's not. But I'm at that point. I'm fed up with folk. Folks, you can't continue to think you can get something for nothing. And Lord, help you if you call yourself a child of the Most High and you doing somebody like that. You ought to be, we ought to go out in the parking lot and settle it the old-fashioned way. And it will give me pleasure. How can people look in your face, know they owe you? How can you do that? I see it. Let me end on a positive note. Listen to this. She puts her hands to the staff with the flax. Her fingers hold the spinning rod. She reaches out to embrace the poor and opens her arms to the needy. Oh, man. Now, you talking about, they like that term, queen. You talking about a queen. I ain't talking about that other kind of queen. As busy as this woman is that's being described, she makes time for the poor and the needy. See, that's the kind of woman, and use wisdom with this. In fact, I got some advice for you. You do with it what you will. Ladies that go here, ladies that follow Torah, leave the hard heads alone. I don't care how desolate he look. Let one of the fellas address his situation. Concentrate on your sisters. Okay? Because the tighter things get, and they're going to get tighter financially, you're going to have people doing things that they normally wouldn't do. In other words, you might get out of your car to help somebody and end up getting carjacked. And see, unfortunately, with the holiday period about to come up, some of these people don't have anything for them 11 kids they got. So in everything, even in doing acts of kaseh, use some wisdom now. Please. Stop thinking, oh, God got me, God gonna do this. And hey, listen. He gave us teachings and instructions for a reason. Please. Please. Don't just memorize it. Live it. God bless you.